done for you, Mataji. Sridham, you can begin with the invocation prayers.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Urdhva Moolam Sakham. Ashvatam Prahura Avyayam. Chandam Si Yasya Parnani. Yastam Veda Saveda Ved.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas."
Adasturdvam prasritastasya saka puna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha adascha mulani anushantantani karmanubandhini manushya loke.
The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society.
Narupam masyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nacha samarpishtishta ashvatamenam suvirudamulam ashangasastrena Ashangasastrena didena chitpa tata padantat parimarkitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyaha tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prashrita purani.
The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. Sorry. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of attachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began, and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial.
Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivrita kamaha manver vimukta sukha dukkha samner gachanti yamuda padamavyayam tat.
Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, and who are free from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom.
Na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yadgatva na nivartante taddhama paramam mama.
Prabhuji, could you please move? Oh, sorry. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or the moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, give us 1 second. The screen. Okay, great.
Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana shastandriyani prakriti stani karshati.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they're struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind.
Shariram yad avapnoti yachapi akritamishvara kirtavetani samyati vayurgandhan ivashayat.
The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another.
Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rashanam grahanam cha adhishtayam anaschayam vishayan upasevate.
I'm sorry. The living entity thus taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and scent of touch, which are grouped about the mind. Thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Uktramantam stitam vapi bunjanam nagunanvitam vimudananupashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshusha.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this.
Yatanto yoginaschainam pashyanti atmani avashtitam yatantopi akritatmano nainam pashyanti achetasaha.
Endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to.
Yadadityaгаtam tejo jagad vasayate kilam yachandramsi yachagno tattejo vidimamakam.
The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of the whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me.
Gama vishya cha bhutani dharayami hamojasa pushname cha sadhi sarva somo bhutva rashatmakaha.
I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables.
Aham veshvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranapana samayukta pachami anam chaturvidam.
I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of the living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming to digest the four kinds of foodstuff.
Sarvasya chaham hridisani veshto mata smritirgyanam apohanam cha vedescha sarverahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Dvavimo purusho loke sharaschakshara eva cha shara sarvani bhutani bhutasto shara uchyate.
There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
Uttama purushastvanya paramatmati udaditaha yo lokatrayam avishya vibharti avyaya ishvaraha.
Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them.
Yasmat sharamati aksharad apichotama atosmi loke vedecha pratita purushottama.
Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person.
Yomamevam samuddho janati purushottamam sa sarva vidbhajatimam sarva bhavena bharata.
Whoever knows me as that Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is a knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata.
Iti goyat mamam shastram idam uttam mayangaha etad buddha buddhiman syat krita krityasya bharata.
This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and this is now disclosed by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
Hi Krishna. Thank you very much, Yash and Sridham, for reciting this beautiful chapter today, chapter 15. Can somebody confirm that you're able to hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
can.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Thank you. Right. So we will now continue. Somebody's put their hand up. with their login detail is Hare Krishna. Prabhu, is there a message you want to give us? Okay, so we're just going to go back to text 1. I'm going to try to go straight to Vedabase if I can from here. If not, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Text 15. Are you able to see the Vedabase screen, or what are you seeing at the moment?
It's the actual, the 15 we see.
Oh,
right
you can
now.
see it. Wonderful. I'm just I'm on my son's computer now because for some reason it was my laptop, I think, which was having some issues. So hopefully today should be fine. So let's go straight into the 15th verse. I will recite the Sanskrit, and then I've asked my daughter to see if she can read the translation for us. So I'll start with the Sanskrit, and we can maybe perhaps one devotee, Ajay Mukunda Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So you can maybe I'll recite once, and then you can recite the shloka one more time. Like I'll recite the one line, and then you could repeat after me, Prabhu, and then like that we can do it together. Just
Okay.
the Sanskrit part.
Prabhuji, we can't see your Vedabase screen.
Oh, you cannot see my Vedabase screen. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Let's see if you can see it now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Sarvasya chaham hridisa nivishto.
Mata smriti gnanam apohanam cha.
What I'll do, Ajay Mukunda Prabhu, I'll recite the verse one. I think it's better. I'll recite it once and then you can do it and I can follow you like that. Sarvasya chaham hridisa nivishto mata smitir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarveraham eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. Now you can recite it once with Ajay Mukunda Prabhu.
Sarvasya chaham hridisa nivishto mata smriti gnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Sachi, would you like to read the translation for us for this verse?
Yes,
Please go ahead, Sachi.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of all Vedas.
Thank you, Sachi. Thank you very much. So perhaps Ajay Mukunda Prabhu, would you like to, since you're reciting the verse, you could read the first few lines and then maybe another devotee, Rajesh Prabhu, you can read, and then perhaps Jyoti Mataji can read like 3 or 4 lines at a time. Let's read the purport again. It's such a beautiful purport of Srila Prabhupada. I know I read it yesterday, but let's read it one more time. Thank you again, Sachi.
Okay. The Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and it is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required knowledge is supplied to him, and remembrance is given to him, and he forgets also about his past life. Thus, the Lord is not only all-pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. He awards the different fruitive results. He is worshipable not only as the impersonal Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the localized Paramatma, but as the form of the incarnation of the Vedas as well. The Vedas give the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and Krishna in his incarnation as Vedvyas is the compiler of Vedanta Sutra. The commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva in Srimad Bhagavatam gives the real understanding of Vedanta Sutra. The Supreme Lord is so full that for deliverance of the conditioned soul, he is the supplier and digester of foodstuff, the witness of his activity, and the giver of knowledge in the form of the Vedas, and as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita. He is worshipable by the conditioned soul. Thus, God is all good. God is all merciful.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Rajesh Prabhu, would you like to read maybe just 3 or 4 lines of the next paragraph, and then we can have Jyoti Mataji read maybe half of the paragraph you can read. Oh no, Rajesh Prabhu is not there. We can have anybody else who would like to go next.
Yes, I
Can
can.
I go, Prabhuji?
I will.
Haribol, yeah, 2 Mataji said, so one could, yeah, one of you could go ahead.
Can I
Go
go
ahead,
ahead?
Mataji. Yes, go
Anta,
ahead, Shri Mataji, go ahead.
anta pravishta shashta jnanam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again, initiated by the Supreme Lord. Although he forgets, the Lord gives him the intelligence to renew his work where he ended his last life. So not only does a living entity enjoy or suffer in this world according to the dictation from the Supreme Lord situated locally in the heart, but he receives the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him. Next, probably the next other Mataji can read
Yes,
them.
go ahead, Mataji.
Okay, hi Krishna. Yeah. If one is serious about the understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence. Why does he present the Vedic knowledge for understanding? Because the living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. Vedic literature confirms this. Yo sau sarvaira vedera gatyate. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra and the Upanishads and Puranas, the glories of the Supreme Lords are celebrated by performance of Vedic rituals, discussion of the Vedic philosophy, and the worship of the Lord in devotional service. He is attained. Can I read more, or is it okay?
Maybe Jyoti Mataji could read the rest since I had called out her name. Mataji, you can finish the purport. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Therefore, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. The Vedas give us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing him. The ultimate goal is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra confirms this in the following words. Tat tu samanvayadi. Sorry. One can attain perfection in 3 stages by understanding Vedic literature. One can understand relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By performing the different processes, one can approach him. And at the end, one can attain Krishna, who is no other than Thus, the purpose of the Vedas, the understanding of the Vedas, and the goal of the Vedas are clearly defined. Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Thank you. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, welcome once again. We are now discussing the second part of this 15th verse of the 15th chapter called Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So I'm just going to flick through these slides because we went through the intro quite a few times of the chapter. So we are currently on this third section of this chapter. And then tomorrow, Vrindavan Chand Prabhu will take us to the beginning of the next session, which is the fourth session, where the Shloka Gita of the knowledge, the summary of the Veda and the Vedanta is explained. And then finally, we'll conclude in the last session. So we discussed the link between the text 14 and 15 yesterday, that how Krishna in the previous three texts is trying to confirm to us that he's actually not only personally related to us, but he's also cosmically maintaining everything and maintaining us as an individual living entity as well, and how he's situated in our heart. And now in this particular text, it is explained that how he's the compiler of the Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas. We discussed from this that the theme of this particular verse was indeed Krishna is the only source of happiness. And that's the reason why we should invest our energy and reading the scriptures, understanding the Lord Krishna's pastimes to the degree the Lord can actually reveal, because Krishna's pastimes are unfathomable. Lord Ananta, who has so many hoods, he's trying to glorify Lord Krishna from so many mouths, and yet he's not able to complete or come to the end where the glorification has ended, because Krishna's qualities are unlimited and so is his pastimes. So it's very difficult for us to fathom or come to a point where we will be exhausted. In fact, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, once speaking to his disciples who were talking something about or giving a question, or there was a conversation going on, and they said, Guru Maharaj, this particular newspaper has published this. And then Maharaj said, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj said that, you see, the newspaper is a stale news, that they pick up the same old things which are happening in relation to the three modes of material nature, and they try to add a new angle to it and publish it. But it's very stale and old. But whereas if you take scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and if you start publishing a magazine or a newspaper, like Sajona Toshini, how Bhakti Vinod Thakur time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur time, it had, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had started, you will never be able to get bored of that literature, because it is ever fresh, it's transcendental. And even if you read the same pastime of Lord Krishna killing Putana, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liberating Jagai and Madai, you will still find so much of joy and so much of excitement in the same very pastime, even though you're reading it fourth or fifth time. That's the beauty of these scriptures, actually. So we discussed the three kinds of happiness in relation to the theme of this verse, which was the material enjoyment was the first kind of happiness, and how it is limited and flickering. And the problem with this kind of happiness, Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita that by nature, we are, if we start to have so many desires, and because of those desires, we will never be able to come to a point of having a one-pointed intelligence or determination to serve the Supreme Personality of Lord Godhead, Krishna. And then the second kind of happiness we discussed was associating to try and to be oneself with the Supreme Brahman. And then finally, the problem with this was that even if we merge in Brahman, because our senses are not rightly engaged, there's every chance of us falling down. But the third kind of happiness, which is derived from Krishna consciousness, is everlasting. It is joyfully performed, and it can only bring more happiness to our life, actually. And this is confirmed in the purport to Bhagavatam 1.3.13, where Prabhupada says that the human life is meant for attaining eternal and unlimited happiness by spiritual realization. So then we looked at few aspects from the focus of learning from this particular text, how Paramatma, who's the Supreme Lord, is in everyone's heart, and he's also pervading, and he's also the initiator of all activities, like he gives us the direction. And then we have our activities or karma and some seeds which we have fructified, and we act according to that. And the Lord, being a sanctioner, he sanctions those results which we then have to go through, either good or bad. And then we discussed he's worshipped as Brahman, Paramatma, and also the incarnation of the Vedas. Then we looked at how God is all good and all merciful, like how he is a supplier and digester of the foodstuff, as Prabhupada mentions this in the purport, how he's the witness of all activities. We discussed the verse from the Shvetashvara Upanishad, that how there are two birds sitting on a tree. One is eating the fruits, the other is witnessing. And now, today in this last section, we will discuss for a few minutes before we get on to our next part of the program, which is Vedas provide perfection in 3 stages. And Srila Prabhupada has very nicely explained it in the purport. The first point Prabhupada brings to our light is establishing the relationship as the purpose of the Veda. That's what first Krishna is saying. He's saying by understanding the Vedic literature, one understands the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why Lord presents Vedic knowledge? Because the living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. That is the reason why Krishna descends in the form of the Vedas. And the second point was that God gives us the intelligence, because by understanding the process of Veda, we can then approach the Lord. And not only that, by the performance of the various Vedic ritual discussions of the Vedic philosophy and worship of the Lord, we can gradually make our way towards the Lord and get closer to Krishna. And finally, Krishna explains that how is the goal of the Vedas. Not only while we are reading, we are worshipping Krishna, but at the end, one attains the supreme goal, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hema Mataji asked this question about the Vedas, why there is an emphasis on the Vedas when the Vedas also promote other materially motivated things. They do. But for a devotee, he's looking at the essence of the Vedas. And we see where Krishna was trying to impart this knowledge. He's in the 15th chapter. And from 3 chapters later, Krishna is telling, whatever you have heard, forget all that. Now I'm going to tell you, because you have developed some sukriti all the way to the 17th chapter for our sense. Arjuna was, of course, a pure devotee. He already was at a very high platform. But our acharyas explain that by the time Krishna said, Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami masuchaha. You see, when Krishna said that to Arjun, he was ready. He said, my dear Lord, I'm all yours. Now I've completely surrendered onto you. And now he was ready to, he had already taken the shelter of the Lord. So at this point, we understand the goal of the Vedas. And one of the things, as I was looking at some of my previous notes of Bhakti Shastri from today, and looking at it, like, one thing is to understand by reading the scriptures, like one way is that we can get knowledge, and we can definitely acquire what is necessary to understand the spiritual life. But one should always think, what is the goal of this knowledge which I'm trying to acquire? And I remember this also, His Grace Sutapa Prabhu once shared this in his session, and I had made a note of this, so which I was able to see today when I was looking at this section of the purport, that what happens is initially when the Shravanam happens, we develop some faith in this process. And when we develop some faith, then more knowledge comes as a result of that faith. But a devotee, a sincere sadhaka should always think that how is this knowledge manifesting in my life? How is this knowledge will become more applicable in my life? And how is it that I'll be able to see the result of this knowledge which I'm trying to imbibe here? So there are three aspects to it. The first aspect is that by reading the scriptures, one sadhaka, a sincere sadhaka, will develop more desire to serve, seva. That's one thing which will happen. A symptom will come, as it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, Shranvatam Swa Katha Krishna, that by hearing constant katha, not only our heart is being purified, we also get, through that purification, we are able to engage in the service of Lord Krishna with more vigor and more enthusiasm. So if you're reading the scriptures, you're doing the right thing, you're taking the shelter of the spiritual master and taking the knowledge, the natural symptom, the first symptom will be that you want to serve the Lord in a practical way. That's why Srila Prabhupada called this bhakti. Bhakti is translated as devotional service, which is a very active ingredient for a jiva, for a living entity. The second thing which will happen as a result is that you will develop surrender. So first thing will happen, seva. By serving, our surrender will increase. Then gradually we are getting closer to Krishna. And of course, Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains, we have gone through this in the previous session, different stages of surrender. And finally, the third thing will happen is Sankirtan, the more engagement in the going deeper in our sadhana and also distributing that nectar with everybody. So this was quite striking when I was hearing to Sudapa Prabhu. He said these are the three results which will take place. And if we see here the goal of the Veda, the process of understanding, establishing the relationship, all of that is manifesting. As the devotees here, they want to serve. They want to call the devotees, see how you are. Can I, my Guru Maharaj says, the best question you can ask anybody, how can I be of service to you, or my master, or Prabhu, or Mataji? How can I serve you? That is the best kind of question one can ask. Those are the questions Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami. Those are the questions the sages in the Nemesharanya asked Sutta Goswami. So similarly, following in the footsteps of these acharyas in Goswami, that should be our natural proclivity to ask, how is it that I can serve you? So these are some of the important points I wanted to bring it. And finally, as I said yesterday, understanding, realizing, and finally distributing will bring the complete satisfaction to oneself and others. So on this note, I would like to end this verse, and now we will go into a nice, even more practical aspect of what we have been discussing, and how the seva will help us have more surrender, which will give us more service, especially in the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm very happy and delighted to share with all of you on the behalf of all the Sankirtan leaders at Bhaktivedanta Manor and in our congregation. I'm very happy to introduce a 3-month-long campaign to all of you, which is called Live to Give. And it is a campaign which will go on for 3 months, starting from now in the month of Kartik, which is coming shortly at the end of this month. And then in the month of December, where we will be having officially our year-long marathon. Oh, sorry, month-long marathon. I'm just going a bit crazy here, year-long marathon. Actually, Titikshu Prabhu, our BPD representative here in UK, he says, marathon is not a matter of a month, it's a matter of a life. So I quite like that. And that's why during the year, we like to try and do some services where we can try to keep going with the book distribution of Srila Prabhupada. So this is a flyer which is being made ready. It's a global campaign, like how the Bhadra campaign was there. And now we are trying to distribute Bhagavad Gita, especially in this month, next month, and the December month. But in December month, we will also be focusing on all the other books of Srila Prabhupada as well. And probably in Kartik, we'll bring Krishna book alongside Bhagavad Gita as well. However, the best news for all of us is that we are trying to, this year, we have agreed that any book distribution which takes place now and in November, because the circumstances are difficult, we will be doing it online. It will be contactless. So the book distribution committee in UK has agreed to include all these courses towards the marathon. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us now from today onwards to distribute any book we take on our shoulders that each book will be going towards the marathon scores. So the target for ISKCON worldwide is 2 million. Of course, it's a big target, but it's not far from what we have been doing globally every year, because that's been taken in consideration. So I want to ask you now, looking at the 2 million figure, and I want to give you some background. In the last year, last few years, on an average, we have distributed 22 to 25,000 Bhagavad Gitas, because Manor does about 80 to 90, 100, sometimes 70,000. That's the number of books we distribute at Bhaktivedanta Manor just in the month of December. So having consulted some of the devotees in our group and other leaders, we have come up with a wonderful goal for Bhaktivedanta Manor and also for UK. Does anybody have any guesses what that goal could be? You can send in a message or unmute yourself and share what that goal could be.
Half a million, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Half a million?
Half, half a million will be a big ask, Prabhu. But no, I hope one day we will get to there. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Sorry, I didn't catch your name, Prabhu. Who was that?
Girish, Prabhuji.
Girish, Prabhu. Thank you. I wish one day we will reach there, Prabhu. But I have full faith working with all of you. We can definitely smash our target. So our target for Bhaktivedanta Manor is 35,000 Bhagavad Gitas is what we are looking to distribute in these 3 months. And then, of course, we will have another goal for other books of Srila Prabhupada, which we will know in a couple of weeks down the line for December month. But we want to distribute at least 35,000 from Bhaktivedanta Manor, and UK is going to try to distribute 50,000 Bhagavad Gitas in the next 3 months. So I'm coordinating with other temples, with the blessings of other Vaishnavas from our community. And together we have come up with a goal of 50,000 Bhagavad Gitas. I also wrote to His Holiness Shivram Maharaj today, because he's such a Sankirtan journal in the army of Srila Prabhupada. He's residing in Hungary and empowering so many devotees across the globe. I seeked his blessings and I shared our goal with him. And I've also requested him to share my letter with the Sankirtan leaders there, so we can reach out to other parts of Europe and hopefully look to distribute 100,000 Bhagavad Gitas from the Europe side, like how we did Bhadra campaign. We involved another 4 European countries, and it was such a wonderful success. And Srila Prabhupada said that your love for me will be shown in how we cooperate with each other. So that's the beauty when we work with devotees across the globe, having these global campaign. It's called the Global Bond. We are coming together as an ISKCON organization to please Srila Prabhupada. That's our intense desire, actually. So with that, we are just waiting for a few other European countries to come back and join us in this campaign. But for now, I want to open the floor to all of you, that here is the opportunity that we are looking. Either you can sponsor, or you can take your 15 books, which are available now on this link, which you will see, www.krishnatemple.com/Shastra Dan. You can go there, select how many Bhagavad Gitas of any of these 4 or any other numbers you would like to opt for. There is a note section on the form. In that you can mention, I would like a home delivery. There may be an additional £10 charge, because we will be couriering those Gitas to your home. So you can then give it out to your friends at work, your relatives, your family, new people. And my request is, when you give them a Gita, invite them to study the Gita or read at least a chapter with us. And I also want to urge you that I'll be discussing with Mukunda Hari Prabhu, Vrindavan Prabhu, Keshav Gokulanand Prabhu, Nitin Prabhu, and other Sankirtan leaders, Hema Mataji and others, that how we can develop a follow-up program where the devotees who are getting the Bhagavad Gita are also able to recite a chapter. So start thinking how you can start your chat sessions, even if it means once a week, and inviting those 5 people who you're going to introduce the Bhagavad Gita and studying the Bhagavad Gita with them. Because ultimately, of course, the book will do wonders. But if we can also help them in inviting them to read Bhagavad Gita with us, that's the best opportunity. So now I requested all of you yesterday and that if you could come up with 2 or 3 ideas. We have 15 minutes. Let me see the time now. We have few minutes to have a little bit of a brainstorming. Is there anybody who could help me volunteer writing the ideas down, which are either spoken or put onto the chat button, if it is possible?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji, I can do the writing.
Oh, that's great, Jyoti Mataji. So what you could do is take down the ideas as they come. And then
Okay.
later on, you can put them in a category. If somebody is saying sponsorship, then we can put them in the sponsorship. If somebody is saying maybe we can contact the schools, colleges, you can put it in that category like that. So
Okay,
now I
sure.
would like to open the floor. First of all, any questions from this campaign, and then any comments, and then we can take up more ideas and suggestions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Harinath here.
Yes.
Prabhu, there are some speaking Bhagavad Gita or talking Bhagavad Gita in the market. Does ISKCON also provide some of these books? Or are they available handy so that we get the genuine books in hand?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Prabhu. Mataji, can you make a note for me, for Divyanam, to contact Pavitra Mataji, who can also help. She's doing this Sangha with Mother. I think it's Madan Mohan Prabhu is also online, and
Okay.
I can try and ask Pavitra Mataji about those Gitas. Also,
Yeah.
I'm trying to arrange some other languages to get it from India directly, like Gujarati, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Bengali Bhagavad Gitas for wider other communities as well. So we'll have them. They may not be available right now, but they will be available in 6 to 7 weeks time. But right now we have English Bhagavad Gita, the orange one, those copies. But thank you for that suggestion. Wonderful idea. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other suggestions, devotees?
We could put them in libraries.
I'm sure so many of you must have come up with so many ideas last night before going to the bed. So please do bring it on here so we can really utilize it and share it with others.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I was looking at how many secondary schools there are in England.
Uh-huh.
There's 4,188. So we could send it to the religious studies departments of all the secondary schools. And also I was thinking that we could distribute to all the MPs.
That's nice, Mataji. Yeah, that's a great idea. Prabhupada always wanted us to think big, and Bhagavad Gita is such a literature which is already world famous. Mahatma Gandhi gives his quote at the back of the Bhagavad Gita saying that whenever the disappointment stares me on my face and I don't see a single ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to the Bhagavad Gita, and among so much of overwhelming sorrow, I begin to smile. And this gives me such a comfort. So when we have people like Albert Einstein, Mahatma Gandhi, who are endorsing this work, it becomes much easier to present it to these places and member of parliaments and all these people. So Jyoti Mataji, please write down this suggestion. This is a brilliant idea. And Mataji, could you just please tell us your name? For some reason on the screen, I can't see the names.
Oh, it's Jayashri.
Oh, Jayashri Mataji. Okay, I'm not surprised this is coming from you. Thank you, Jayashri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. That's a great idea. So,
Hi,
Jayashri Mataji, thanks for putting it down.
Hi, Krishna. Can I say something?
Hare Krishna. Yes, please go
Hi,
ahead.
yeah. It's just I was thinking of the nursing home we have in UK, or the Indian nursing home where the Indian people are around. I think that's the one of the things I was thinking of last night about the nursing homes.
Okay, yeah, that's a great idea. So,
Yeah. Because there's a lot of nursing homes around here. I mean, in Finchley and Kingsbury and all that, where the Asian old people are really living there. That would be ideal for them, on their last time of their life. They just can read something and.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great idea. So, and we can put that down as well, because what we have is we have a wonderful Gita project where Radhadasi Mataji and Nitin Prabhu are helping us. Any book you all will sponsor, or any big people will sponsor, your friends, family will sponsor. We already have a list of prisons where we are approaching already to give it to the inmates of the prisons this time, so they can read Bhagavad Gita. I will also be sharing some stories over the next few days that how people's life have changed after reading this book, Bhagavad Gita. So that's a brilliant idea. And I have a question here from Divya Gaurangi Mataji asking the donation price. So when you click on this link, you will be given 4 prizes. The prize for one Bhagavad Gita is going to be £5 if you buy it individually. But if you take a sponsorship or take 15 Gitas for you to distribute, or 26, then they are being packaged in a much discounted price. So the 15 Bhagavad Gitas will cost you only £65 for all the 15 Bhagavad Gita, plus there will be 8 to 10 pounds of delivery charge, which you need to write down in the notes that I would like a delivery, and then make an additional £10 payment. So we are aware of that. And then a devotee will contact you to make that. I'm not sure. Nirmal Prabhu, are you online? Let me see if Nirmal Prabhu got my message or not. No, he's probably not online.
Also, sorry, Prabhuji, I just would like to ask you one other thing. You know, like other groups we have, not a part of the Sangha group, there's a lots of group like a Japa group in the morning, from Bhakti Sasi group, and it's called Bhakti Riksha group. Then we have like a Srimad Bhagavatam group. So all this group can get so many, so any one of your leader can come in 5 minutes, give a talk about this. Would be very nice actually.
Yes, Mataji, that's our next plan. Because you all are such a captive audience, I wanted to make the auspicious start with all of you, all the chat members, because I feel this service, Mukunda Hari Prabhu, Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, myself, Madhukumari Mataji are doing, we just feel that it is much nicer to begin the charity at home. And I feel at home with all of you, because this is one thing, if we study and read the Bhagavad Gita together, it just helps us to come together. So after this, the plan is all the leaders will be contacted. They're already aware. There are Bhakti Vriksha Sankirtan leaders like Raksha Mataji and Thiru Mataji here in Northwest London. In East London, I'm coordinating with Ashish Prabhu and Yamuneshwari Mataji. So those things will now start to happen, Mataji, and all the devotees will gradually get involved. So for now, if you can help spread the message yourself, that wonderful campaign is coming up. Let's get ready. Have you taken a box for yourself? My recommendation to all the 57 members who are online right now is to look to take at least one box, which is 26 Bhagavad Gitas, which will only cost £108. And this is actually, it is said in this month of Adhik Mas, before the month ends, each grahastha especially should do one charity to by giving it something for the right cause. And Srila Prabhupada said, there is no better charity than giving somebody a transcendental knowledge. So when you break your Purushottam fast, or at least even now, from today all the way to the 16th, whenever you ready to do that charity, at least look to do a box. So that way we have a great opportunity to just pick up that one box and ship it to a prison, rather than taking the 15 Gitas here and there. But it's again as per your capacity. If you can only do 15, absolutely. Because in the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Lord Ram, even a squirrel who was trying to pick up a little stone and help Lord Ram, and Hanuman who was picking up the long stone, they are equally important to the Lord. It's the mood and the intention in which we are trying to serve our Lord actually. It's not so much about the numbers. But of course, according to our own capacity, the more we do, there is a devotee, wonderful devotee called Radhe Shyam Prabhu, who is the temple president of ISKCON Pune. And that yatra is flourishing in his leadership. And last year in Marathon, he was giving a class and he said something so beautiful I want to share with all of you. He said, in this age, it's very difficult to perform the yagyas when you are not able to get the pure ingredients. You're not able to go to the people. You're not able to do anything. So it is very, very difficult. But a devotee, when he's knocking on the door of the people or asking them over the phone or asking them their friends that here is the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, I request you to take the book. It's the best book available in the world. It will change your life. It's the manual of the life. And you can give some donation. So when the devotee is putting his hand out like that and asking for a donation, he should be a proud representative of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's standing with the pit, like a fire pit in his hand, asking people to give the best kind of charity in the Sankirtan Yagya. There is no better place than that pit of a devotee's hand, which he's standing waiting for the books to, Lakshmi to come in return for the transcendental knowledge. So that's my suggestion. I have a couple of messages. We also have our daily Astakam to sing. My wife Rindarika Ramya will be joining us to do that. I'm just conscious of the time. Do we have? Yeah, we've got 7 minutes, so we are okay. So I have a message here from Garta Mataji. Perhaps we can get donations for printing of Gitas and then distribute some sets for free for people who need it, like homeless shelters, hospitals, care homes, schools, community shelters. Absolutely, Mataji. That's definitely our intention and idea. So the more devotees sponsor these books, the more we will be able to reach out to the people who really need the knowledge. And then Santosh Mataji is saying, oh no, sorry, Raj Prabhu is saying, let's distribute it to the local council libraries as so many people can benefit. Please, sorry, was it Jyoti Mataji you're writing the things for us?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm making the notes.
Okay, thank you. You can copy and paste it from the chat box directly. I will also request you to reach out to, I will let you know to who, so you can also help us in contacting these places, making some phone calls for us once we have sponsorships coming in, and you can work with Nitin Prabhu. I'll introduce all of you. I'll invite him in one of the sessions like that. And I will also request Mukunda Hari Prabhu and Vrindavan Chand Prabhu to spend maybe at least, if not 7 to 8 minutes towards the end of each session, just asking any suggestions and also spending a bit of time in glorification of the studying and the distribution of the Bhagavad Gita. So we have a message. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. You were saying something.
Just wanted to ask you, have you tried Amazon and a Facebook to make a proper Facebook individually to reach out to people?
Again, that's a great idea. We are in the process. We are about to launch a new website, Mataji, in a couple of days for Prabhupada called ideaseeds.org. And we are looking to put up a Facebook page and an Instagram page as well. We are also planning to reach out to senior leaders in ISKCON to give us a little talk of 2 to 3 minutes or 1 minute on the Bhagavad Gita and this Live to Give campaign. I also requested His Holiness Shivram Maharaj to also give us a video as well. In fact, just the letter only went this morning via email through one of his disciples here in UK, and I already had their main Sankirtan leader message me saying, I've just got the letter from Maharaj. We would like to work with you. Please let us know how we can get involved. So I already have a call booked with the devotee. So this, I just wrote to Maharaj to seek his blessings, and Maharaj came forward in such a way that it's really nice.
Wonderful. Prabhuji, another thing, we have lots of congregation members plus patrons. Some of them are there who are not maybe KC still. They might need Bhagavad Gita. So if we have the list of those people, we can phone individually.
Yes, Mataji. So that's something what we are going to do, because from a temple side, the temple is going to be also promoting this campaign quite heavily, especially after the Anukut. They will be contacting patrons. We will be doing an online yagya, and everybody who sponsors at least a box of Bhagavad Gita, they will be invited to attend the online yagya. Don't quote me on it. At the moment, the ISKCON calendar says 28th, I believe, of December, but we are trying to move it to 25th, the actual day of the Gita Jayanti. So it's not me, it's the temple management is considering this, and this will be out very soon. So anybody who sponsors a box of a Gita, they will also be invited for attending the yagya. And the Gitas will also be given out to the patrons, and everybody will be gradually getting involved. But I wanted all of us to be ahead of the game, like how we were in Bhadra, and start doing it now. Let's all of us start, as we say, charity begins at home, and then we can reach out to the others as well. I have a message from Santosh Mataji. Can a devotee who's a media representative from the manor promote the Bhagavad Gita on the main TV and radio channels, especially during the COVID pandemic? Yes, Mataji, we should definitely do that. We will be contacting many devotees. All this process is going to begin now. Absolutely. That's a great idea. I also had a suggestion from Hema Mataji that School of Bhakti is doing these small videos. And I was speaking to Mother Vishaka. She said she's also going to help us do a video on Live to Give campaign and put it out to the community as well. So there are some really good ideas coming up. Thank you for your suggestions. Geeta Mataji is asking, could you please post the link to everybody? I will do it right now. Let me do it to all of you. There we go. So hopefully I get it right. Can somebody click on the link once I paste it to make sure it takes you to the donation link? Shastra Dan. Oh, I don't know if it is the correct spelling. Is it D-A-N? Okay. Try this link and let me know if it works.
Hare Krishna, Divanam Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, another suggestion is that, like all the devotees who are living and nearby their neighborhood, if they, contact them, keep the relation, give them prasadam and, build up the relationship with them and then start distributing books. That's what I try to do. And that helps. So this way, all the devotees living nearby, they can be able to cover, one or two streets around where they're living.
Yes, that's a good idea, Mataji. Definitely, we can do that. How about putting flyers in the letter boxes? Yes, we can definitely. That's a good idea. Thank you so much. Can you send the messages not privately to me, to everybody, so Jyoti Mataji can write down? So I'm going to read a couple of these messages for Jyoti Mataji. Contact all Namahattas for distributing in their areas. If you can repost your message by clicking to everybody, then Jyoti Mataji can see it. About putting a flyer or a letterbox. Yes, I think some of you said this. Right now in COVID, people will be so much receptive to get Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4 kinds of people approach me. One who's in distress, one who's looking for wealth, one who's in the need, looking for like just the knowledge, and one who is, who's the 4th one? Artharthi, Jigyasu.
Looking for the absolute truth.
Inquisitive.
Yeah, inquisitive, and somebody who's frustrated. So these 4 people. So right now, people are going through a lot of frustration and difficulty. So it's a great time to actually come forward and give them Gita. Okay, the Shraddha Dan link works. Divya Gaurangi Mataji had confirmed for all of us. So please log in and begin the charity on this auspicious month of Adhik Mas. And let's take Bhagavad Gita. I mean, 35,000 for Bhaktivedanta Manor. Trust me, it's a small goal. And all of you, with the whole congregation coming on board, I'm confident we will not only meet, we will smash the goal, because Srila Prabhupada always wants us to think big. And I can see all of you are already thinking so much big about, distributing Gita. Krishna says right after Sarva Dharma Parityaja, few verses later, he says, please make a note, Arjuna, there is nobody more dear to me than one who's telling others about this sacred conversation or distributing this knowledge to others, actually. And for our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his Guru Bhakti Vinod Thakur, this Brihad Midanga or book distribution was the most dear activity, actually. Flyers in the boxes via TV, radio channels. Contact all the UK Namahattas for distributing in their areas. Yes, it's all going to happen, Mataji. We're going to begin that journey very, very soon. What I need you to do is, I don't know how to work it out. If anybody has a suggestion, all these suggestions you've very kindly given up. Also, let us know how you can help us with those suggestions, like by contacting some people. My request will be not to contact any patrons at this stage from the temple, but anybody else. All the other suggestions are most welcome, because we will leave the patron part to the temple for now. But if you can also help in calling these people, I'll look to put some kind of process in place where devotees can help and we can have some champions doing different things. So we'll do that in a day or two, actually. So let's stop here now, and we can recite our daily Astakam, Chora Astakam. I'm going to share the screen and invite my wife to recite that Astakam. It's about time. Here we are. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can sing this bhajan behind the muted mics along with Vindarika Ramya. So let me just share that with all of you. Come up now. Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radha Ramani. Okay, so I have the bhajan here. Let me see if I can make it just one slide at a time. Okay, so I'll read one first couple of translation, and then whoever would like to go next can read it, and then maybe the last two, Vindarika Ramya can read it and start the bhajan. I offer my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves, who is famous in Vraja as a butter thief, and who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes.
Please, can you enlarge the screen, please?
if I can enlarge the screen. Okie dokie. 1 second.
Fonts, especially the fonts.
Yeah, I'm on a Apple screen. I'm not used to Apple, but let me just try to
I
do
think
it.
you yourself can enlarge it. If you just do it, you can. Just make your screen go, enlarge it. You don't need to, Prabhuji. Everyone individually can enlarge their screen.
Okay. Yeah, try it. I'm struggling here on my side. You can just.
I can't do it either.
You can do it. Okay, great.
I
No, you
can't.
can't do it either. Okay, all right.
We can do it. We can do it.
We can do it. Yes.
I can do it. I did it.
Yes, we can all do it. Yes.
All right.
I
Okay.
can't
Thank
do
you.
it. I don't know how to do
Okay.
it.
I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of the thieves who steals Srimati Radhika's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and suffering of those who take shelter of his lotus feet. Text 3. Anybody can go for text 3.
He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggar. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the 3 worlds.
Text 4.
Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of before, heard of anywhere.
Text 5.
Having stolen my
Okay.
wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion.
Text 6.
You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraja. You sever the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees.
Thank you so much. Vindarika Ramya, would you like to read the last 2 and then sing the bhajan?
Okay. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of aeons.
Jai. So if I could request everybody else to mute their mics, that will be wonderful.
Raje prasidham navanita choram gopangananam chadukula choram. Raje prasidham navanita choram gopangananam chadukula choram. Aneka Jita Papa Choram Choragraganyam Purusham Namami. Aneka Janma Jita Papa Choram Choragraganyam Purusham Namami. Adhikaya Hidayasya Choram Navambuddha Shamala Kanti Choram Padashritanam Trasamasta Choram Choragraganyam Purusham Namami. Kinchani Kritya Padashritam Karoti Bhikshum Pathige Hamihim Kenapiyaho Vishana Chorai Drista Shuto Vana Jagatrayepi Yadyanamapi Haratiya Shesham Giriprasarannapi paparashim. Acharya Rupo Nanu Choraitre Drishta Shudho Vanamaya Kadapi Dhanam Cha Manam Cha Ratnendriyani Pranam Charitva Mama Sarvameva Pralaya Se Kutra Dritodya Chora Tvam Bhakti Dam Nachi Maya Niruddha Sinat Sigoram Yamapasha Bandham Vinatsi Vimam Bhava Pasha Bandham Chinati Sarvasya Samasta Bandham Naivatmano Bhakta Kritam Tu Bandham Manmanase Tamasa Rashi Ghore Paragrihe Dukha Mae Nivata Lavasvahe Chora Hare Chiraya Swachora Dosho Chitam Me Vadandam Karagrihe Vasa Sadaridaya Madhye Madbhakti Pashadridha Bandhana Nischalasan Tvam Krishna He Pralaya Koti Santarepi Sarvasva Chaura Hridaya Nahi Mochayami Braje Prasidham Navanita Choram Gopangananam Chadukula Choram Aneka Janmarjita Papa Choram Choragraganyam Purusham Namami Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol.
Haribol, thank you so much. That was very nicely sung. Vindarika, Sridham, and Sachi, thank you very much. I have few messages to read out to all of you before we go. So Shobna Mataji said, I'm celebrating my 70th birthday and would like to sponsor 70 Bhagavad Gitas to start with. Thank you so much, Shobna Mataji, for your wonderful way of celebrating your birthday. I wish I can celebrate my birthdays like this, giving out that many books of Srila Prabhupada on my birthday. That's a great idea. I'm very, very inspired. So many happy returns of the day to you. Rita Kumar Mataji is saying, thank you. I agree with all of you distributing the great Bhagavad Gita. Jai Ho, Hare Krishna. Jyoti Mataji has come forward to say that I'm very happy to do this service of making phone calls, sending emails, anything with the phone and computer. I'm very happy to serve. That's wonderful news, Jyoti Mataji. We need devotees with all kind of skills. Prabhupada said everyone has a genius. So please, I will keep you in mind and I'll contact you for some services, definitely. If anybody else would like to contact certain places, anything, Jyoti Mataji, would you mind putting your email address on the chat box right now here and your contact number?
Sure.
And then the devotees can if I could request all of you online, in whatever way you'd like to say, okay, I'm going to try and contact the council. I'm going to try and contact this person. I'm going to contact some family friends. Please, if you could reach out to Jyoti Mataji, and then we can coordinate with her later on. Until then, thank you so much for your wonderful suggestions and contribution. All I can say is that one thing is to come in the association of devotees and hear Hari Katha and hear the message of Bhagavad Gita. But there is another thing altogether to start to think how we can then distribute it to others. This is the desire of Srila Prabhupada. He wanted all the sanghas to be like this. Devotees coming together, hearing and chanting, becoming like a family, and then from there expanding this Sankirtan movement all over the world actually. So you all are doing a wonderful service just by even giving your ideas. I can't even begin to imagine what will happen when you start to call up people. So I'd like to make a prayer for all of us on this day when we are launching this campaign here in UK and at Bhaktivedanta Manor. My dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our entire Guru Parampara, if you so desire, kindly empower us by giving us your blessings and intelligence and strength to make this effort to try and distribute at least 35,000 Bhagavad Gitas from this camp of Bhaktivedanta Manor here in UK, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, who worked tirelessly throughout his life to not only write this transcript 3 times of Bhagavad Gita, but even to go through a great deal of difficulty in printing this book through Macmillan. And not only that, he then worked tirelessly with his many disciples to distribute this knowledge wide and far, because of which we have been benefited today. So I beg you, Srila Prabhupada, so please empower us, all the acharyas, so we can collectively work together, cooperate with each other, and study, read, and distribute thousands and thousands of Bhagavad Gita for your pleasure. If everybody online agrees with this prayer in part and whole, as my Guru Maharaj says, please unmute yourself and let's loudly chant the Hare Krishna mantra by concluding this evening. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Hare.
Jai.
Done speaking, look.
Rajshri Mataji would like to make phone calls. Thank you so much. Please email or contact Jyoti Mataji. She can put a list together for everybody. Sangeeta Mataji wants to serve. That's wonderful. I'm moving house, so I'm going to donate 15 books to my area, schools, library, and friends and neighbors. Thank you, Varsha Mataji. That's wonderful. Thank you, Sangeeta Mataji, for sharing your email address. Jyoti Mataji, you can make a note of that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful
Thank you,
class today. Thank you.